on December 15th. Please rise for the, or roll, yeah, please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Combs?
Here.
Mr. Lippert? Here. Mr. Riggs is absent with notice. Mr. Swayze?
Here.
Mr. Underwood?
Present electronically from Omaha, Nebraska, my hotel room. I'm alone.
And so I have a modification or approval of agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a
I'll
motion.
second it.
All right, please call for vote.
Ms. Combs?
Aye.
Mr. Lippert? Aye. Mr. Riggs absent with prior notice. Mr. Swayze?
Aye.
Mr. Underwood?
Aye.
All right. Open forum. We have one person that signed up to speak at open forum, Ms. Teresa Kemp.
So we're my group.
Yes.
I was at, my name is Teresa Kemp, and I run the Hanover Outreach Center. And I was asked to come tonight to let everybody know what the situation is as far as the Angel Tree goes. I was contacted Friday saying that they had put it up Friday, of all things. And I'm going, listen, guys, that's a week. I don't know what we can do. I'll see if we can pull a miracle out. As of last night, we had all 61 kids taken care of.
Wow.
I do not wish to do that again. I'm quite honest. I have spent this last 6 days stressing, just making sure that those kids are taken care of. Not a good thing. Not a good thing. But they're all taken care of. Plus, I have some additional gifts that were given to me. So if we have other kids that need it, or somebody doesn't come through, then I have gifts to serve them too.
Okay.
Okay. And I want to let you know that the Hanover Community Church stepped up in a big way. The Midway Rancho Church stepped up in a big way with the Olsons. My family stepped up in a big way. We had 2 community people that just blew my socks off. I was like, what can we do? How much do you need? If I give you the money, can you shop? And I'm like, I sent my daughter shopping, to be honest. And then we had a lot of community members that said, here's $20, here's $5. I can't afford to sponsor a whole child, but can I help sponsor one together? And so with everything combined, even people outside of our community stepped up. And so we were able to do all 600. And so I would like to suggest if we're going to partner next year,
Yes.
that we start earlier,
Yes.
like in September,
Yeah.
to be quite honest.
We were closed for 3 weeks. and
Yeah, I understand
hurt us.
that,
So
but
we have a plan. We have a plan.
even if it's before Thanksgiving.
Yes,
ma'am.
That was the plan.
Yeah, because I used to do in September when the kids came back to school.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, Christmas is this far away. Yeah, but for people to plan
I
and
love
be
it.
able to, then you need to give us time.
Well, we really appreciate you partnering with us and
Oh.
being willing to do it. And thanks for going
It's
above
awesome.
and beyond.
It's awesome.
And we apologize for the late.
I've been wanting to partner for a long time. And I also want you to know that if any kids need clothes, snacks, extra food, let me know. Because I can do it. I can get that family stuff. I can get that family stuff.
Perfect.
I need to.
Well, thank you.
You were gonna be our new best friend.
I like being best friends. But I just want to let you know that we did get all 61 taken care
Well, thank you.
of. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It helped a lot with that.
You can go.
She got socks for a lot of boys, underwear. She got snacks for a lot of sports. Yeah.
Never met her.
You never met Teresa? Oh, she's a great lady.
All right, well, let's go on to consent agenda. Do I? All right, let's call for a vote to approve consent agenda. Or do I have a vote? Do I have a motion? to
I'll
approve?
make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
2021 payrolls,
All right,
the whole consent. The whole consent.
yes.
Make a motion.
Do I have a
Approve the
second?
whole thing.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Ready, second? Okay, and call for a vote, please.
Ms. Combs?
Aye.
Mr. Lippert, aye. Mr. Rick, absent with notice. Mr. Swayze,
Aye.
Mr. Underwood.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we'll go on to board superintendent comments. We've got one board comments. Do you have any, Mr. Swayze?
Oh, you know, go with this first. Oh, no, I think it's been going great. Oh. I think that, the superintendent has a great idea. I don't know if he brought it to the fire department yet. But the fire department and the school over Prairie Heights, and hopefully can get together. Hopefully he talks to the fire department and they can have a breakfast. So we can get the community over there to come out for the breakfast over there. And the chief, when I mentioned it to him that you might talk to him, he says, oh, great idea. So you might wanna, if you haven't. That was been pushed it along. That's all I had. Oh, everybody's doing a great job. I think, oh, no, one other thing. Sixth grade, I am proud of our sixth grade. There was none of them, not one on the ineligible list this time, not one. I don't know what Mr. Mark is doing, but them, yeah, not one. I went to every teacher because I couldn't believe it, not one.
Wow,
Yeah, I was shocked,
that's a night and day difference from football.
absolutely. So, yeah, I owe them a pizza party. They don't know it yet. They do now. They do
Yeah.
now.
Public is right.
No,
All right, are we all
that's
ready?
it.
All right, Mr. Lippert.
First off, I'd like to start off by saying that it's my first meeting. Fantastic. I'm super pleased to be here. I'm excited. Thanks for all of the votes, putting me in a position, and I hope I stand up to the task. To all the department heads, teachers, principals, my first board reports, and I read them all, incredible. And I'm not gonna prolong this meeting. I'm just gonna hit each and every one of you up with all my little questions. Because I took 4 pages of notes when I read this thing. So I'm not gonna hit every, prolong this meeting and all, but please bear with me on stupid questions because I do have some. But other than that, fantastic info, great. I took it all in. There's a lot of stuff I don't know, so please teach me. I'm willing to learn. I'm happy to be here, and God bless and Merry Christmas to everybody.
All right, Mr. Underwood.
Due to the difficulty of this electronic communication, I'll just defer my comments to a future meeting.
Okay, thank you. And for me, I just want to say thanks to everyone for bearing with us while we had to shut down, especially because we extended it that extra week. I think it did help. Thanks to the staff for all the headaches that came along with having to make those calls. And I appreciate you putting both the staff and student safety and health first. I know that as a parent, I truly appreciate that in the sport work. And then I just want to say that basketball is off to a good start. Attendance has been really good at the games that I've been to. I think that everyone should look on the calendar and come out and try to come and support one game. And then also just thank you for everyone for showing up. Thanks for sending your kids to us, to all the parents and entrusting us with your kids, especially during all this COVID and outbreaks and health. And so we appreciate you entrusting us, and to the staff and to all the teachers, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for choosing to work for our district. And then I just want to say Merry Christmas, and I hope this new year.
I lost audio. I can't hear.
I feel blessed
Thank you.
here in Hanover. Bear with me on a couple of notes here. Mr. Koopman and myself are working on adding CTE programs and collaborating with neighboring districts. We're also working with TJ with that as well. We want to be able to offer as many CTE programs as we can next year. I was at the pancake breakfast, and I'm trying to get the assistant chief to retire and just come work for us and teach electrical. I mean, he's an electrician. I don't know. If you're out there and listening, that's for you, Assistant Chief Kevin. He kept saying, I don't know, but he needs to. We're looking at plumbing too, if you know anybody who might be a master plumber. Anyway, NWA testing at both schools, we're seeing some really good growth numbers. We don't have any finals yet, but I'm really impressed with the growth we're seeing for our students. There's been a lot of work. We have our Christmas program tomorrow, 6:30 at PHE, Prairie Heights. Please come out and support your elementary students. I unfortunately will not be able to be there. We'll be at a BOCES meeting, TJ and I, that I'm hoping to see their dress rehearsal tomorrow during the day. The drama program, band choir were great. We've got phenomenal kids. If you get a chance to come, I was blown away by the support I saw from the community coming out. You guys are awesome. Please keep supporting them. Survey came out today. Don't know if the board saw this. The Colorado Education Association polled their teachers, and half of them are looking to change careers. We're not seeing that in Hanover because we have amazing teachers and staff here. They're awesome. But please, if you see them, thank them. They deserve it. They're working hard for your kids. I want to thank everyone that supported the angel trees at both Prairie Heights and the junior senior high school. Someone tried to steal my thunder. She just left. So, well, I guess I can. I'm not going to let that stop me. So here's the people that we want to thank. So many community members handed out $5 or $10 or 20 and said, just put it towards whichever child needs something. Hanover community, Larry Obermison, Susan Coleman and family, Sherry Abeda, the Kemp family, the Starkovich family, the Moore family, Marilyn Mahar, Nathan Burt, Paula Abeda. These are the ones that were elves for our kids. And then we also have the Rancho Midway churches, the Olson family, the Underwood family, the Smith family, the Lynch family. I can't thank you guys enough for what you did for our kids. I mean, my heart is bursting over this. This Hanover is the best community ever. That's all I gotta say. So I went to the fire department breakfast. Yes, I talked to the chief about having a breakfast over. For those of you who are terrified that since 1973 they will stop having it here and then add one over there instead, that's not gonna happen. This will be an additional breakfast. If the fire crew says they want to do it, he had to talk to them, so that's what they're going to do. Finally, I would like to thank Mr. Lippert. TJ and I went to a conference at the beginning of December. Learned a lot of information, had some phenomenal conversations. It was a blessing to go there with you, TJ, and I really enjoyed the company. So, how am I on time? Quick, one more update. El Paso County Health is changing the guidelines for COVID again. My understanding of the guidelines, and I'll find out more on Friday, is this. High school, good luck. Hopefully you got vaccinated. Elementary, if somebody's in your classroom, parents can expect, we know that they had COVID, you can expect a letter. There are no more quarantines. All of the other districts have removed their mask mandates. Nobody's wearing masks anymore. Everybody's really come together, and I want to thank everybody for the hard work getting to this point. One more thing, if your kid's sick, keep them home. Doesn't have to be COVID, whatever it is, just keep them home. Let's all stay well. I don't want to ever close school. Kids belong here. Sorry I had to close it today, but those kids would have been sandblasted at the bus stop. It was bad. So other than student safety, well, I guess student safety, but I don't want that on. So we're going to try to stay.
And my daughter was super happy. She's like, we get a snow day. And we're like, but it's not for snow. And she's like, yeah, but we don't have online school. We don't have nothing. Like, I'm like, you're using the snow day. I get it, kid. But she was like super excited. I can sleep in pajamas. And
We talked about that.
yeah.
We really felt that the kids deserved that.
well, she appreciated it a whole lot. All right. Looks like we have staff report 7.1. Do we have?
There
I
is,
do not believe those are DAC meetings.
Nope, it looks like the DAC meeting was held, only 2 attendees showed up. They waited until 5:45. And because there wasn't enough, they had to go ahead and close the meeting. And they will hold a special meeting beginning of January to discuss the final decision on the textbooks that Ms. Moody had presented. So we appreciate that update as far as filling us in. Sorry that you guys couldn't have a full meeting. We appreciate you two that did show up. All right, looks like we got discussion items 8.1, treasurer's report. Looks like we want to start adding this to the meetings. And so we want to see what we're going to make it look like. Determine a list of specific tasks on which those tasks the board treasurer needs to report monthly. And we're pretty much doing it. The auditor in the past has recommended financial oversight activities. So we need to, as a board, specify what exactly the board treasurer is expected to do and what he should report on. All right. Do we have any ideas? Does anyone want to start with one?
So the one thing that I want to emphasize,
I'm sorry, Randy, go ahead.
so the one thing that I wanted to emphasize is this falls out of, like you previously said, the auditor's report and what they said. We need additional eyes on things, and we're going to extract that from the previous audit reports and put that in at a bare minimum. And I don't have the exact language, but it's coming.
You are breaking up, Randy.
Yeah, I know.
I agree. I think it should be high level stuff, sort of just checks and balances information. Is that what you were saying, Randy?
Yeah, basically, in my mind, it mostly revolves around the auditor's recommendations.
I don't think it needs to be everything, is what he's trying to say, like petroleum. We don't need to see everything the petroleum is paying or that we paid them. We don't need to see that. But what we need to see is like the credit card statements, the bank statements, higher things that like that. I don't think we need to get right down into it.
Need to be waved out, I
Yes,
think.
exactly.
having
Paul
looked at
gets
this
into
in,
the rest.
I imagine that there's a lot of similarities every month. We pay
Yes.
X to
Yes.
vendors or contractors. I think that the parts that really need to come out are the ones that stand out.
Yes,
If there is a huge difference,
Right.
whether we exceeded our savings or whether we spent a lot more.
Right. yes.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's typical.
Well, typical, right. Paul as a treasurer can get deeper in there and look at that stuff, but I don't feel that we need to see it unless Paul brings it forward.
So I don't know if you guys can. So the main thing I wanted to point out was that we should definitely do. All right, everybody turn off your speakers or something. Massive feedback. All right, start again.
Can you hear us right now?
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Okay. No, I agree. I feel like any outstanding items, maybe anything that emergency wise comes up that's not budgeted for, because things break, we need to buy things. Just anything out of the ordinary, and just pretty much know that they're at least sitting down with Pat. Like, hey, on such and such date, I sat down, I looked at such and such, everything's good, or we had this outstanding item. Just so that way we're getting tax report also, but for the community and for transparency, we have another set of eyes on things. And it's not out of any distrust for you at all. It's just mainly for transparency and just for, to know that, we have a treasurer and I feel like they should be working well with Pat as far as the budget and on things with an extra set of eyes.
So
That's my thoughts on it as well.
we've looked at all that stuff. Treasurer walks in there and he looks at every bit of that every month. Okay, if there's something different, he takes it to Pat or to Shauna and asks them or talks to them. Or I've gone to Kyle on a couple times. And if it's something out of the ordinary, something that doesn't belong there, then I take the Randy and the board. But I mean, board report's fine. I agree, put it on there so we can read it all. But Pat's gonna bring something up to you.
Yeah.
Pat brings them up faster than I did.
All right. And the treasurer report could be like, hey, we're great, everything's good.
Yeah,
Like, it's
no.
not necessarily just looking for issues.
No,
Like,
it's not.
because Pat does an amazing job.
Yes.
Well, yeah, at the same time, we also don't want, like, so, every quarter, Pat, gives us a quarterly report, right? So we really don't need the treasurer to be like down in the weeds and be like, okay, so this month we have 27.5% of our budget spent. Like, we don't need that from the treasurer. We get that from Pat.
No, I agree.
You guys give us direction on what to budget.
Yeah.
If it's out of the ordinary and we're going outside those parameters, hopefully we're bringing it to you. The treasurer doesn't have to, but yeah. Yeah, that conversation needs to be had with the treasurer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Just pretty much, I met with, me and Pat, I looked over everything, such date. Everything's good. Or I had this question, and it was perfect. All right, any more discussion? Questions, concerns? You good, Randy?
Also, I think we need to set a course, right? So what's the plan? So, I'm gonna have a list, here in the next week or so from Pat about what the auditor's been recommending for a while. In all fairness, we've been doing those things. We just haven't been reporting on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm hoping that, or my original plan in bringing this forward was that at the next board meeting, we would have an action item that actually said, okay, from henceforth, as part of the agenda, we are going to have a treasurer's report, and the treasurers are going to report on A, B, C, D, and E.
Is that what the auditor wanted? He told us we had to do something like that because they've never done that in the past.
No, that's not what he said. The auditors always said, hey, you need a second set of eyes on this and a second set of eyes on that. And we've been doing that, but we just haven't been reporting on it. And I think that's maybe something we actually just want to say. Yeah, so for the record, 5 days ago, I sat down with Pat and went over A, B, C, and D, and everything seems to be in order. And it could be just that simple.
I like
Okay.
that. Just for that way also that the community knows that the board is doing what they need to do for transparency reasons as well. I don't think it needs to go into detail, but I think it needs to be like, hey, on this day every month or this day, such and such, I met, and just sort of like a check
No,
in.
that's good. I agree with that part. Yep.
But I don't think it needs to be detailed. We get those.
Yeah, so what I'll do is get those that bulletized list of things, and we'll put it as an action for next month. So expect the first formal treasurer's report in February.
All right. We'll have that action item next month. All right, 8.2 master plan status. This goes back to us going down. Attached is a review of needs for the first phase of the BEST/master planning process. This is us going after the BEST grant. It looks like for the high school, they have a handful of things, replacing the existing chiller. One similar to the one that we have. Sorry, guys. My computer.
You want me to roll through these?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we want to replace the chiller. It's at the end of its lifeline. Replace the existing boilers, repipe the hot water header, and add a side arm for the hot water mixer.
Yeah, put it right on the way the, like, piped in the system right now is we turn on both boilers. We destroy them both because one feeds into the other, which feeds out.
And
it's not supposed to be that way. So
Right.
they want to reconstruct it so that they each feed out on their own and we're not interlooping the boilers.
Right. We're gonna do drainage from the kitchen and handle the slope issue that was there. We want to do a whole building test and do a balance for both air and water. High school science room, we need makeup air in there. The kiln needs a 3-phase circuit and a smoke detector addition. We want to replace all of the controls to allow for when nobody's in there, we're not heating the rooms. And the lighting occupancy sensors in the same way, so for both the heat and HVAC to save some money. We want to add video monitoring to the vestibule, a surge suppression, electrical surge suppression. We want to add irrigation controls and upgrades for the football field to save water, add a secure entrance at the front so that we actually have a place for somebody to come in and talk, so they don't, so when someone comes in, they don't just have direct access to the rest of the school.
You have to get buzzed in.
Right, well, to get buzzed in, but then I get buzzed
It's like
in
another
again, yeah,
extra
an extra, yeah.
layer.
And then we want to add a secure lockable, maybe looking at, like we have on the high school side, we've got lockable doors on that side. When you turn left, there's doors that can be shut. We'd like to see if that's possible on the middle school side, although it's a little more difficult on that side. So we're gonna want to see what the architect says on that. At the elementary, we want to do a water filtration system. We also want the lighting occupancy sensors there. The roof drainage is an issue. We've got standing water on the roof that they noticed. I guess the scuppers are really small, like smaller than they should be for that size roof. So they're gonna look and see what they can do on that. They want to put some trap guards on the restroom floor drains. We have some issues with the sanitary sewer because we've got a pump uphill to the drainage. And I guess those pumps are burning out on a fairly regular basis. They're thinking if they put a grinder in there, that might actually help the flow. So they're gonna look at that.
They don't have a grinder in it?
No, I don't think so, no.
That's code, you know that, right?
Well, this was 20 years ago, so I don't know if it was.
That's
back
true.
then, but yeah. We know, they saw a few things that they thought they can change and fix.
And this is all for the best grant.
Yeah, all of this is going through the BEST grant. They want to do an automated system that shares with the high school so that you can track heating and cooling and kind of do that kind of monitoring.
Is it where we can get different areas at different
Yeah.
temperatures when needed? 'Cause
Yeah.
right now it's like all or nothing.
Yes, that's what they want to do. That way you can shut things off if they're not being used.
That's,
Saving money for the district. They want to add a PA system over there. I mean, I guess there are speakers. They're gonna look to try to maybe use those speakers at PHE. But right now they're using the phones as the intercom system, which isn't very effective. Electrical surge suppressors there as well. Fencing for the modular classrooms so that they're a little more secure. So that their kids aren't just walking open. There's actually fencing there as well. And we had also talked, and I'm not seeing it on here, but we'd also kind of talked about, well, I guess they do have an entrance there, but that office is set up in a way that you could actually move a wall inside to have somebody that could come in and actually talk to someone behind glass. But at least that was a little more secure. They get in that first door and then they have to ring and there's a camera and then they let them in. So there's still discussions there. What has to be done here and what's really critical is if there's a possibility of expansion. So this is just the first best grant. Moving into a master plan, following that up with a second best grant, right? And so we have to make sure that any improvements we do at PHE, if there's a possibility of an expansion, it has to be plug and play. BEST is not going to pay for anything that we install this year that then we tear out next year because, so they're going to be very careful about the cost on that so that nothing they install will not be able to be used. So I don't know if you guys have any questions on that, but that's basically the discussion that we had. So. Oh, hang on.
did they have any questions?
Do you guys have any questions?
No, my phone disconnected for some reason.
Sure.
No, I don't have any questions. When are they submitting it? When are they?
Best grant is, I believe, February. We will know in May. I will probably have to be there to present to the best board in February. And once we have it all put together, it'll come to you guys so you guys can see it and say, yeah, we want to do it.
And then the other portion of what we're needing to obtain that isn't covered under the best grant is what we're going for. Miller Lake levy, and that's when we're gonna do town halls and.
If we try to do a bond issue, we'll do town halls, all of that, because we don't want to know from the community. What does the community
Yeah, okay,
think for
but
the
not
Hanover schools?
necessarily for the best grant. I
This
just
is
wanna-
all kind of upgrades that are necessary, mechanical, things that need to be replaced, things that we need now, and things that we believe we might be able to get an energy grant from Colorado for to take care of our portion of the match. So if that's the case, then we wouldn't need any additional. He keeps dropping. It's all good, man.
You're in Iowa.
He's in Iowa,
Who's in Nebraska?
Iowa, Omaha,
Nebraska.
Yeah, he got
Another
there
foreign
home, huh?
country.
Today.
ex-Sargon. Okay,
Okay. No, I appreciate the update. I don't have any more questions. Anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns?
I saw in the maintenance transportation update about chiller, talking about going to carrier. Are we set on sticking with carrier?
I don't think we're
No.
set on anything. You tell me, I mean, we'll take any recommendations.
Are we
Send me
gonna
an
start
email.
doing the 3 bids and stuff like
Yeah.
that, so we can get a guess?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I know carrier wasn't too reliable.
No, I've been trying to call Carrier to get information from them and all that.
And they will do those bids as well. And they're gonna be responsible for that. I believe they're even gonna be responsible for maintenance going forward to a certain extent. So we'll have to talk to
Or
them
we'll
about
open
that.
it up to other
Yeah.
companies.
Absolutely.
You know, Colorado's got a lot of incentives for solar. Is it possible school can go to solar?
We'll look into that.
I'm just.
Absolutely. No, I hear you.
I mean,
I think one of the biggest problems is unless we wanted to actually pull ourselves off the grid, using a battery backups type of a system,
right,
which may not be cost effective yet. Then what you're
Tesla.
doing is net metering. And I think they stopped doing a dollar to dollar net meter. I think they're actually paying you like 50 cents on the dollar for a net meter, which is kind of obnoxious, but
Tesla just come out with a new battery that they're testing in all the homes. And they'll put them in free. Yeah, they'll put them in free. And they come out and watch it, maintain it. I think, I'm not 100% sure how long. I don't remember. I read all about it.
I would love to have our director do some research on that, find someone I can call and I'll talk to them for sure.
I think it's all online. We'll have to hunt it down.
Let's do it.
The
We can work on
Tesla,
that together.
I mean, I couldn't believe it when they said that Tesla battery, it's better than what they have in the car.
I'm on a lithium ion battery where I live and I love it. I worry about reliability. But I think if we could do it, I mean, we're at school during the day, so theoretically,
Yeah,
I hear you.
I don't know. I don't know much about solar. I've just been reading it.
And then one last question, the electrical surge suppression. Is that like we're in the well house to save our pumps?
I
Yeah,
hope
Seems
so.
like every
Yep.
year we get
Yes,
surge
at least
and
a pump.
close our pump right
They-
before school starts.
They would like all of our equipment to be protected, yeah.
All right,
You have anything else, Mr. Underwood?
all right. 8.3 discussion item, health and life insurance for part-time employees. Recommended course of action is superintendent report findings on his research. The process of determining the board desire within the bounds of statute budget to provide health and life insurance to part-time employees. Currently, according to the policy, part-time employees cannot participate in the district's health and life insurance programs. The board should consider extending those benefits to part-time employees. Both legal requirements and budget impacts need to be characterized.
So here's what I found out. I talked to our insurance agent. I think on the life insurance side, the $7 a month or whatever that costs per employee, that's a possibility that we can extend that to part-time employees. There's a reason why health insurance isn't extended to part-time employees. Number one, they won't underwrite it if you're guaranteed. So if you're self-funded, you could potentially go that way, which is one of the things we're talking about possibly doing in the next renewal. We're going to see if that saves us money. And Mr. Kuby is going to come speak to the board on that. But there's a reason why underwriters don't underwrite health insurance for part-time people. And when he explained it to me, it made a lot of sense, and it's something the board would need to consider. What happens is a part-time employee, if they're young and healthy, they think, well, this is way too much money that comes out of my paycheck, so I'm not gonna come in. As we get older and see the value because of health problems, well, maybe even if I'm working 20 hours a week just for health insurance, it becomes worth it. But it's not worth it from the perspective of the people who are funding it, because you've got the healthy people aren't paying in on the premium, and the unhealthy people you're paying all this money out on. So that would be something the board would have to talk about. He was saying, yeah, if we go self-funded, you could, it's the board's decision. But then again, you're opening yourself up to a lot of very expensive claims that could then drive your costs through the roof. So that's why traditionally part-time doesn't do health. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean something like peak med wouldn't be an option, because that's just primary care. You go to see the doctor, and that's the peak med is like it's a membership.
Yeah.
Right, so it's just kind of a flat thing. They don't track you. You show up to the doctor, they write your scripts, they can tell you what's wrong, and then they can recommend specialists. Now, we could do that potentially for part-time employees, because that's just straight up, here you go, and it's not as much money. Having said that, then those employees wouldn't be covered by like a major medical catastrophic type situation. So it's just something that when he brings it to our attention, we just need to have that conversation and see, well, what does this look like?
So, question.
Absolutely.
I understand the life insurance portion. That's great. That's fantastic. Now the health portion with the part-time. Is part-time dictated by what the district says is part-time, or what the health insurance companies are saying is part-time? Reason why I'm saying, you can advertise for a job that is obviously part-time. You're gonna work 4 hours a day, and it is advertised 4 hours a day. You're advertised being part-time. But then say like a transportation for buses, they're part-time only because the number of hours that they drive is under the 32 that the school set standard. Not because they signed up to have a part-time job. So if the school went back, and I know years ago, it said 28 hours was a full-time job, and now I find out it's not in there. If we went back and said 28 hours and put that in our system, sure, that's full-time.
Right.
Bus drivers, specific ones.
I understand.
Qualify.
I understand the question. And it goes back to who is doing the insuring. It's a potential they might come down to 30, maybe they could do 28, it depends. What we're under right now is a small business, a small group, guaranteed in Colorado. You don't have to qualify for it, the premiums are set, that's what they are. When they go up, they go up for everybody who's in that pool, because it's a small number insurance pool, right? School districts or small businesses or whoever wants to offer. The other plan we're looking at would be self-insured. Now, if we're self-insuring, And like Edison self-insures, they've gone to this other plan and they've saved up quite a bit of money. I mean, they've got quite a bit of money in their self-insurance bank, if you will. It's a situation where we can set those guidelines, but we have to be prepared for any type of, stop losses. Because the way it works is you do a reinsurance for catastrophic, and they kind of rate you on that as far as catastrophic. And so everybody has to say, okay, this is how healthy I am. This is the meds I'm on. This is, that type of thing, just so they can do a decent underwriting for the plan. Because you're paying them a certain amount of money that says, well, if somebody, God forbid, gets cancer and then this other insurance kicks in and we've got a stop loss at a certain amount, so they pick up everything above that. So what we have to look at in that situation is what makes the most sense for us and what kind of risk tolerance do we have to expand our insurance. And maybe 28 is reasonable. We would need to see what that looks like and what kind of advice we get. I don't think something along the lines of 20 would probably be reasonable.
Right, no.
I wanted to send it for $28.
We'd have to look at that and see. Right now, I don't believe the current pool will go down that low. You might talk them into 30, but I don't think they would go to 20. At least that's what Mr. Kuby told us, but I can ask him. When he comes and talks to us, he'll let you know, because I think those guidelines are pretty much set in stone.
And reading the transportation handbook, one of our items that we went through, I know in there was workable thing where we could work with the drivers, so they could get the hours to maybe get there. But it would have to be a contractual thing, I'm sure. I'd have to talk to the experts.
I can tell you, it may not be in transportation. I can guarantee on the outside that we've got the hours if they want them. I guarantee we've got the hours if they want
But I think it has to be in a contract.
Does have to be.
Full-time. And the wording would have to be smart.
Sure, and then they would have to commit as well to the hours.
Chuck's offered that to a couple of people. I was sending when he did.
What about like something like this? I don't know if this is far-fetched or not, but like a supplemental insurance, like an Aflac insurance or something like that. My work offers it. We're not full-time to where
We can look into that.
they pay for it, but it covers like hospital expenses, cancer. I mean, you can sign up. I pay, it's $75 a week out of my paycheck, but
Sure.
it's for life insurance for yourself. It's for disability, short-term disability. And then that leaves it up to them, and it doesn't
Sure.
matter if you're full-time, part-time. But it's that
If
supplemental.
the board
that can help.
wants me to look into that, I'm happy to look into that.
I think that might
I
be
think
a
Mark
better
Kuby would
option.
probably be able to come in and make that offer. That's a totally different
Okay,
kettle of fish. We could absolutely offer those benefits.
but
And
I
that's
think
something you
that
guys.
if
yeah,
we say
sure.
no to these, maybe we can do that even for part-time, because
Absolutely,
then we put the financial responsibility on them as well.
absolutely. And that's not a self-insurance thing. That's a completely
Correct.
separate deal. Yeah,
Correct.
I'm not opposed to that at all.
Okay. I think my personal opinion, one of mine is for this item, find out more information. I would need to vote on it tonight and it is a discussion. item,
Right.
Never mind. But bring it to us here in a month or two, once we get all the information, and then go from there.
I think I'll bring that up to Mark Kuby, and when he comes in, I'll make sure he has information on that, and he can present that as well.
Okay, cool. I appreciate it. Randy, do you have any questions, comments, concerns?
This was just fact finding, information gathering, and I think, we made some good headroad. And yeah, I think we need to learn more and do some more investigation and see, what it is that we can do and what it is that we are willing to do based on budget. So I think there's still more to come on this.
I think the ideal timing on this would be when we're discussing renewals.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, especially with, if we can't go down to 20 hours with the bus drivers, like you guys were saying earlier, incentive, try to help retain people and get people out.
Always
Do our
for
stuff.
anything we can do for employees. Sure.
Definitely. Well, I appreciate it. All right, it looks like we have discussion item 8.4 boardroom audio / visual system, open still bids. We are going to have to take a short recess here, so no,
No, we want to open the bids here
okay.
and then we'll take the recess to do copies for
I-
the board members.
Okay. We can open.
Secretary job.
It's the secretary job.
It is.
Just bear with me. Get open.
How many did you receive?
Two.
Two, okay.
Who's the first bid from?
Integrated Systems and Design LLC. Just trying to get to the meat and potatoes of it. This is a whole lot of blah, blah, blah.
Must be lawyers talking. A lot of stuff is false.
Hey, no fair. Go make copies.
All right.
You want to
open the
call a
second one.
recess, make copies?
Yes.
Let's
Well,
do
oh,
that.
did you open both though?
No, I just opened.
Doesn't
one.
you have to open both?
He needs to
before
open the
recess?
other one too,
All
yeah.
right, well, I finally got the meat and potatoes.
Well, now we're stopping you. And for this recess, can I talk, Randy?
Well, let him open it and then.
Okay. And this is High Country Low Voltage.
And so,
That's the second company,
yeah.
Who's the second company?
High Country Low Voltage LLC.
Okay, all right, at this time, we have to go on a short recess at 7:25. We are going to send copies to the virtual board members, Paul Ricks and Randy Underwood, so that way they can have time to review it before we vote on the next action item. Okay, can you pause the?
Are we paused?
This says live.
Let's pause.
You want to pause it?
We do. All
All
right.
right, do you have the reporter?
You, it's on.
All right, I'm calling this meeting back to order after recess at 7:43 PM, 12/15/2021. Please, do roll call
Ms. Combs?
here.
Mr. Lippert, here. Mr. Rick, absent with notice. Mr. Swayze?
Here,
Mr. Underwood?
Here electronically in Omaha, Nebraska, hotel room by myself.
Thank you. Out in, corn country.
Go Big Red.
All right, we received 2 bids, it looks like, that. And this again is for the AV system here in the administration building. One bid is very lengthy. Very itemized, which I like. This one is for. We have a lot of options here, and
yeah, it looks like it.
I'm not sure we're going to be able to.
I believe in our bid, we asked for 3 or 4 separate options, so,
Yes,
sorry, in our RFP.
do you think we'll be able to vote on this tonight, Randy, or do you want to be able
This is
to?
just a discussion.
Well, yeah, we have an action item coming up, so, yeah, I mean, I kind of sort of have an idea of what, I personally want to do, so why don't we move on to the action items, and I'll let you guys know what I feel, and then you can overrule me if you disagree with me.
I sort of feel like don't have enough time to read it.
Right. And I don't even have it yet.
Oh, no, you don't. Okay, so chief,
Well, I thought you had it.
I did too.
I keep refreshing on my email. I don't have it yet.
She's on her way right now. She's doing it right now.
Okay, one is a lot of pages long. It's probably taken a minute to scan them all in.
So here's my feeling. Chuck and the board assistant have been working on trying to get the equipment that we currently have. Look in the back of the room, there's a TV and a nice camera on it.
Yeah.
At least it used to be. So they've been working on trying to get that going, and especially, is in the bid, but we already have the equipment. So I think I'd like to give them a chance to get it working and see if we can solve what we have, can solve our immediate problem of basically what we experienced earlier tonight with all that nasty feedback. And so, I'm leaning towards tabling the action item until we can give them a chance to do that. Now, the question is, before I make the formal motion to table, is how many days did the companies submitted bids guarantee their bid?
That's what I was trying to.
The long one is 90 days. I think the short one is the one that had given us a bid before. And You guys see a
I,
good for here? I don't see that written in here, do you?
I do not.
I do not.
The second one does not guarantee the bid for any specific time period.
Okay,
He says he's just available at any time. We should probably call him after we help the need.
oh, okay, I got it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So especially the one is 27 pages
Yeah. Lots of reading.
and 7. So, yeah, I'm of the mind that we table this until we have more time to digest the bids. And also to give, you know, the board assistant and the director of operations time to maybe figure out how to utilize the equipment that we already have.
Yeah, I agree. And I would like our treasurer to be able to do it as well. Lot to digest. And then the different options. This route, there's add-ons. I like the one though, how they itemize everything. That they're itemized.
Yeah.
I mean, I always like that, especially when you're hiring a company, you want to know what you're doing. And then, for example, with going these routes, like on tonight, you guys would be up on a TV essentially, and we'd be able to hear you guys talk to you, right? Like that's what we're accomplishing here. Okay,
That's one of the video options, yeah.
okay, I just wanted to clarify, I suppose.
No, part of the baseline request, it's a video option.
And then we have the wireless option, the wired in option.
Yeah.
Video. Then they have to come and train us on how to operate.
3 hours.
Yeah.
More than
All right. I don't know if we formally moved to 9.1 yet, so I'm gonna say 9.1 boardroom audio visual system vendor selection.
Well, we can, as part of the motion, we can, make the motion to postpone selection.
All right. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to postpone selection of the audio video system vendor
I'll
selection.
second.
Please call for the vote.
Ms. Combs?
Aye.
Mr. Lippert? Aye. Mr. Riggs, absent with notice. Mr. Swayze?
Aye.
Mr. Underwood?
Aye.
All right, we got 9.2 transportation handbook revision.
The only thing we changed on this was the chain of command.
Let's do motion and second before we discuss.
My fault.
I have a motion for 9.2?
So moved.
I'll second. All right, open for discussion.
So the only thing we changed on this is the same one that you guys approved before. We just, the chain of command was not correct in the original, so we made the adjustment in the chain of command.
In other words, the high school principal is no longer in the chain of command.
Okay. So it goes, what is, it's not.
For the transportation, they go to Chuck, and then if they have a problem, they come to me.
Okay.
Before it was they go to Chuck, they go to the high school principal, and then they come to me. It's like, well, that doesn't make sense.
Correct.
But before it was the same position, so.
I have a question with one of the recommended changes. That the bus driver can take school age children on a bus,
That was discussed last time.
was it?
Yeah, and the reason it was put in there was in case a bus driver who had kids was going to a game, they could take their school age kids with them to the game.
And I'm good with that. My question on that is, school age kid Hanover enrolled student, or could this be a kid enrolled in any school, just a school age child?
No, enrolled.
Yeah. But it
It doesn't
reads, it
specify.
says a school age child.
Right. And then if they, say we have a driver from Ellicott who's driving for us, right? And their kids go to Ellicott. I mean, are they not allowed to bring their kids to?
So I understand now. I just don't know if insurance
Yeah.
would specify, because I'm sure anybody who rides our buses is insured by us,
Yeah,
would.
but we're allowed to run another team if we needed to as well.
Right, so it's up to our
It's
discretion.
our discretion. And I would certainly expect if there's an issue that privilege is revoked.
I'm good with that. I agree.
Yeah, you were just asking for clarification.
Right.
Yeah.
I would think even if it was a driver from Ellicott and their child was enrolled in their school, I would think it'd be covered on ours anyway, because the driver is one of our employees at the time.
Yeah.
So wouldn't that be
It
right?
would be covered.
I would think.
We're still responsible.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
That's how I read it last month.
Correct.
right? So,
It's maybe been put in so that we would get other drivers
that would drive in
that would drive the activity buses and
Yeah.
all
No,
that.
that is fantastic.
And it's just the fact that someone was like, well, I can't get a babysitter for my one child here. And it was like, okay, we're gonna try to work something out. And that's why it was put in like that, saying that the driver could bring their child so that they could have the opportunity to drive.
Can I throw this at you all? Add spouse.
I'm fine with that. If the board doesn't have a problem with it, I mean, that's,
If mom's driving,
sure,
dad wants to go too.
If we have the room.
if we have.
Right, if we had the room, well, that's.
we used to, TJ, used to be that way. Used to be also that we had a parent bus going
Right.
to the games that were local. We didn't go clear to Primero, but we used to have a second bus that was volunteer driver on the payroll. He didn't get paid. And he drove to the bus with all the parents that wanted to go.
Or
students.
opportunity to add.
Right. You know,
We put together
I wouldn't add it to your handbook. I mean, that's definitely something the board
Yeah.
wants me. If you guys have a problem with it, I don't have a problem with it, but we should probably have a conversation about costs.
Yeah, I would say maybe when we're developing the budget.
the way it was ran was if I wanted to ride that bus, I paid $10 to go to the game at Kiowa to help pay the gas price.
So let's have that conversation and maybe
I like
add
that
that to the transportation handbook
Yeah.
for next year. I mean, we're not making these changes. We're making these changes just to kind of clear up some,
Some other
Yeah.
problems, right?
Because I have some other, yeah, sure.
But that don't really have to be in the handbook anyway,
I think that's correct.
yeah.
One of the things that I seen was do not leave a student at a stop.
Unsupervised. In other words, if mom
I-
and dad aren't there.
Just a couple months ago, picked up my daughter from the activity bus after dark. It was raining and windy, and these kids got off the bus and they were walking because their ride wasn't there. Their parents were not there, and they were just gonna, and I don't know, like in
Well,
that
if they're normally
scenario.
walkers, that's kind of. a
The,
different-
the bus driver seen that, and the bus driver went and picked them kids up.
Oh, I gave them a ride home.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I gave the kids a
And
ride.
that's a different time.
Okay.
I do know that there has been times.
Okay, like when the bus
Yeah.
driver doesn't realize that no
Right.
one's there, okay.
At PPIR, it's kind of
It's
hard to
hard.
really see everybody
It is.
don't have a lot
because
of
the
light.
kids go 5 different ways.
Yes,
Okay, so the drivers do look around. If
Okay.
they don't see anybody,
okay, or
Okay.
someone's like
then
standing
they
there.
take, but
Okay.
if somebody's
So there
standing
is,
there,
like,
the bus driver
protocol,
pulls them
I
back.
guess.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it is told, the bus driver does tell them before they get off, make sure your ride is
Right.
here before you get off.
Or you come back on the bus.
Right.
Okay, I just didn't know if there was a protocol or what, or,
No,
Yeah.
so I mean, I
Yes.
like that.
Yeah, cause we got 2 kids that think they can walk home from there. We
Yeah,
keep
it's
telling them,
crazy.
no,
Right.
you cannot. Well, he's one of them.
Yeah. No, I liked it. I thought it all looked good. I like the changes.
We got to drill with this too dark.
It says at no time will a driver leave without a couch or sponsor in the district vehicle.
Coach.
I think that was supposed to be coach.
Yes, they got, she came to a coach. Yes.
That was my
Yeah,
other one.
Or, yeah, it
I
doesn't
was like, I
have to,
didn't know you were leaving with a couch.
it doesn't have to be a couch, coach, as long as there's an adult sponsor.
Sounds good to me. All right. Any more discussion?
Unless it's something like match wits, that you got one sponsor with kids for match wits.
Yeah.
The driver is the sponsor.
Yeah.
Makes it hard. And there's certain times.
Especially being a small district.
Right.
All right. Randy, do you have anything?
No, ma'am.
All right, let's call for the vote, please.
Ms. Combs?
Aye.
Mr. Lippert? Aye. Mr. Ricks, absent with notice. Mr. Swayze?
Aye.
Mr. Underwood?
Aye.
All right. Do I have a motion for 9.3 student handbook revision?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right. I'm Open it up here, student handbook revision. It looks like there's just a couple updates to this as well.
Yeah, we, there was really only one, and then we realized, so the one revision is, we wanted to change the date when the hard pull for eligibility took place.
Okay.
We were pulling on, soft pull on Tuesday, hard pull on Thursday. Now we're doing a soft pull on Thursday, hard pull on Tuesday, to give the kids the weekend to get caught back
That
up.
also
And
gives
it,
the teachers.
correct. And this was run through the teachers and the coaches, they all like this. And
Is that what we've been implementing?
yes,
Okay,
since,
so that
yes,
was
that
the-
could be the reason, yes.
Yeah.
It is.
But,
Order.
what was that?
I believe that the actual dates, or days of the week, are in a policy somewhere. And this handbook just implements what's in the policy.
So we may need to update that policy.
If we need to update that policy, I would appreciate it, but I'd still like this approved temporarily through the handbook with the permission of the board.
That would have to change, we would have to change the motion. We could do it.
Okay. I'm not aware of what the policy was on that. I thought that it just said we had to pull eligibility is what I thought the policy said.
Take a look.
I didn't think it specified a day, but I could be wrong on that.
I think it does in the policy. We went through this
Not too long ago.
not even 2 years ago.
Can I continue while you're looking that up, Brent?
Yeah.
So as we were going through the handbook, we realized, oh, wow, we just updated IKF, the graduation requirements last board meeting. So we added that in there so that we changed IKF and put that in. Those are the only two substantive. I am gonna ask that the board direct me to make an additional change that we caught yesterday. And if you go back to the very first page and look at your board members,
Oh,
we didn't catch that in time. That change has been made on our end, but I would just like, for the record, since this was already in the packet and I didn't want to make that change, direct us to correct the verbiage on the board members. We've already done that.
Right.
I just want you to direct us to make that change and then you're okay with it.
can I direct them in this motion, Randy?
We'd have to modify the motion.
All right.
Yeah, that's
Looks
what
like we
she's
need to
saying.
modify the motion for a couple things, and so
Well,
for
for
that
the
as
one,
well.
Randy's still checking.
Oh, and then the policy. I'll wait until we. That way we can get it lined up.
Well, I am 87.5% sure this is in a policy somewhere.
Oh, it is.
13%.
It is, Randy, because
Not
we
right.
went and bought this because we were having trouble with, the way that it was
Cassie.
being pulled before.
Yeah.
Was it, but did it list specific days?
Yeah, had been pulled on Tuesday, hard one on Wednesday, and, because the teachers requested it that way, not the coaches. And then all of a sudden, now it's going back to what it originally was. You know why?
It's JJJ.
Oh, I just found it.
Going to grade on.
Yeah.
See, that's what they did before, and we stopped them from doing that.
I don't see a specific date in there, sir, do you?
I'm scanning.
Nope. Do I? No.
Yeah, I don't see anything about days.
Okay.
So I think
You
we're
want
good.
to add the days into the policy or just leave them in the handbook?
It specifies CHASA requirements and it's best, policies are best left
Yeah.
as broad as
Blanket.
possible overview.
Yep.
And then implementation is things like the student handbook, which you guys have to approve as well.
I agree.
It's kind of like the exhibit or the reg.
What do you think, Randy?
Yeah, I think we're fine to move forward without modifying the motion.
We have to modify the motion to update the board members.
Right.
Okay.
To have the superintendent upgrade that.
Which he's already done, but
Right,
yeah.
yes.
All right, so I'll make a motion to amend the original motion to add the correction of current board members.
Anti.
I'll second.
All right, so this silly stuff works, right? So we have to
Can we get a vote?
vote. We got to vote to approve the amendment and then vote to approve the amended motion.
Okay, vote to approve the amendment.
Ms. Combs?
Aye.
Mr. Lippert? Aye. Mr. Ricks? Absent with notice. Mr. Swayze?
Aye.
Mr. Underwood?
All right.
All
All right,
right.
so anything else we want to talk about on the student handbook? Are we good?
I'm good.
No, I got a question about the voting though, Randy. Paul's already been excused. Does our secretary need to keep calling his name?
No, he doesn't, but at the same time, there's a point of order there, sir. He's a board member, he doesn't need to be excused, he just has to provide notice.
You know, I'm gonna read through the microphone in a minute, Randy.
All
Yes,
right.
that's what I meant.
We need to vote on the amended motion, please.
Ms. Combs?
Aye.
Mr. Lippert? Aye. Mr. Swayze?
Aye.
And Mr. Underwood?
I was.
It
Okay.
took just as long, Ed.
9.4
Because
Sam's,
he paused.
9.4 Sam's Club membership. It looks like right this, asking the board to approve a
I'll
Sam's.
make a motion to approve 9.4.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, let's discuss it.
All right, so here's my request. I I would like to request the board to approve Sam Club card members for use by principals and directors. I believe it would allow them to save money and price shop, saving the district money. Cost of the district would be $400 for 8 cards. Using that, the district would receive a return of 2% of all charges on that for each card. And I can break that down a little bit. I have, we've got a real problem in food service right now. We're trying to get some waivers because we're not getting supplies. Melissa was extremely excited to have the option to maybe go to Sam's Club and save money buying stuff there if she's running out of stuff. I think we could save money on operations, maybe transportation. I don't know if they sell bus tires, but maybe, who knows? But the direction to my directors and principals for me is you need to be doing the price shopping and make sure that this is cheaper and that it's saving the district money. I know that when we're doing professional development day and we need to bring in breakfast and we need to bring in, you know, whether it's muffins or juices, that's a good place for my directors to go grab that and bring it in for that. So that's my request. That's why I think it would be cheaper. And here's how I got there. This is the plus membership that gets you the 2% back. If you go with the cheaper membership, or you just add cards to the plus membership, you don't get the 2% back. So you end up spending like $35 per card instead of $50. And I think we would save the money and get, we have a
Plus,
better
you can
chance
go
of getting more.
earlier with the plus, like their
You
hours.
can.
are better.
And I'm just putting this out there so the board understands, I'm gonna encourage them to use it for their personal because we would get the 2% back on whatever they spend personally.
Do they have personal, do any of them have personal cards right now?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. I've got to ask.
I got a question on this whole thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, transportation and maintenance. There's nothing in Sam's that man needs.
Toilet paper.
You can't get toilet paper cheaper than you go to the warehouse and buy it. What?
You said there was nothing that they needed, not that you couldn't find it somewhere else cheaper.
I'm just being the devil advocate here. Why do all directors need one?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm saying.
Just
Why?
tell me who doesn't need one. I think both principals need one. I think
Oh,
our food
absolutely.
service needs one.
Absolutely. Yes.
It's just.
No, yeah, it's not a charge card. It's just a membership card.
But you're getting charged
But
per
you
card.
get charged per
Yes.
car.
Yes, but it's 2 per. So if you can, you know, we can,
Eight.
Oh, it's
for
two per.
$400.
you get
We're
2
not-
for 100.
Right, we're not
$400
getting
for
charged.
8 cards.
Right, we're not getting I got you.
Correct.
Okay, I just didn't want to get charged $100 for each
If you
car.
go, if you go the other way,
Then it's.
Yeah,
then
then
you pay 40 for the first
you're
one
not
and
getting the
35 for
35.
each additional. Yeah.
And you're not getting.
I
the
got you.
2%
Yeah.
back.
Okay, that makes more sense.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, yeah, I mean, it just makes more sense.
I think it
in my
does.
opinion.
I agree with you.
And I just got to see him membership the very first time right before Thanksgiving, and let me tell you, wow. I can see how it can help food services. I know running our restaurant at work, like we have to go to Sam's quite a bit because our suppliers can't get it to us or they're out of stock. or
We were
they're-
just told we may not be able to get milk.
Yeah.
That their machines all broke.
And
We
that's,
may be
and
forced
that's
to
not-
actually be pouring milk
and,
out of gallons.
and that is not just with one supplier, that's with all food suppliers, US Foods, Shamrock, Cisco, I mean, you're looking at all of it.
Okay, I'll tell you what, milk's cheaper at Walmart than Sam's. Right now. Every time.
Anyways,
It always is. But I would recommend everybody get fuel there, because I don't care where you go in town, Sam's is cheaper.
Well, we can
we
do that
can do that for the,
I'll say
vans.
it's cheap, it's cheaper here, but I don't know what the tax is, whether it's cheaper than what we do. In the tax.
I don't know, no,
No, it's
no, it's cheaper for that buses,
Gotcha.
but everybody else, you can get it cheaper. I mean, $3.14 a gallon for diesel. You can't imagine.
But they would
anywhere.
get the Sam's Club membership, you're gonna encourage them to use it on their own personal, so
Of
that way
course.
we get the 2%.
My goal
However,
would be that
they're
it really
only-
wouldn't cost us anything.
However, they're only submitting, so that way it's on record, only submitting things that they use for the district for reimbursement.
It's gotta be on a completely separate receipt.
Correct. They cannot bring
They
in a
can-
receipt in
No,
personal
no,
and district funds.
no, the
It has
receipts
to
have
be
to be separate.
Correct. I just wanted that for, on record for transparency here.
Yes. We're not paying for any personal
Correct.
use. When I say I'm encouraging them to use it,
It's strictly for the.
they're
rewards.
paying for their own stuff. Yeah,
Correct.
we're not
Strictly
paying
for
for
the
it at all.
Access to sand.
All right. Any more questions, comments, discussion?
So based on what Kyle was saying, so if you cut it down, there's no point in cutting the number of cards down by one. That doesn't really save any money. You gotta cut it down by two to save the money,
Correct.
right? So it'd be 300 for 6 instead of 400 for 8.
Correct.
So if you can figure out 2 people that don't need it, this will be 300.
Correct.
Yeah, but that's not what I was trying to figure out, Randy. Yes, but that.
No, I know, but that's what that's as part of Kyle's answer to your question.
Right.
That's what he was saying is
Yeah.
that like if the maintenance and transportation department, if they don't need it and we can cut the number down by 2, we can save another $100.
And
Finally get to 6 cards.
I believe we will get a statement when we get that 2% back, and if I find people aren't using it, well, then we just won't get it next year.
And not only that, Randy, they can get a savings. They can get oil cheaper there, they can get antifreeze cheaper there, all the stuff for the buses cheaper than going to the auto store.
You're the one who said you didn't need it, and now look. at you,
Well, because I
that
wanted-
peddler.
No, because I wanted to find out exactly what was happening.
Okay.
If 1 or 2
I think
cars,
it's okay.
fine.
My personal opinion is that we go for it. Like you said, you can see who's using it, who's utilizing it, who's not utilizing it. We have it for a year. If district heads, if the directors have it at that point, hey, I'm gonna be by it. Can you grab such and such for, drinks for the teachers or this get together? You don't have to limit it as far as if someone's already gonna be in that area. So
Sure.
my personal 1 of 5 opinion is, I'm good with the idea.
So,
All right, then we'll vote.
All right, call for the vote.
Ms. Combs,
Aye.
Mr. Lippert, aye. Mr. Swayze,
aye.
Mr. Underwood,
Aye.
All right, got a motion for 9.5 GBBAE classified salary schedule.
I make
I'll make a motion to approve 9.5.
Do I have a second?
a second.
Thank you. Let's open it up for discussion. Want to take it away? Anyone?
Well, I thought Kyle was really gonna talk to this, so this was basically, we had talked in previous meetings where, it's hard to attract employees on our current salary scale. And in fact, some people have stated that they're actually leaving for higher paying jobs. And so we felt that, if the budget could support it, that we needed to raise the base from 1235 to our initial feeling was 15. And so the superintendent and business manager put together some information on these to show you or to show us all what that means. So first attachment is just the pay table raised to 15, and that really doesn't tell you much. But if you go and you look at the next attachment,
The adjustment work.
Salary adjustment worksheet for $15. So that shows you basically what the bottom line is for the rest of this fiscal year.
And that's just from current to going forward, right?
That's January to June 30th, January 1st to June.
It
2nd.
looks like we're looking at, including para, and this, I'm just looking at the first worksheet here,
Correct.
an increase of $59,033.34. And that's pretty much just to be competitive with our surrounding companies.
Well, so what, you know, when you look at that number, you think, oh my goodness, $60,000. So when Kyle saw that number, he put together another table, raising the base to $14, and then put together another spreadsheet, showing what that new number would be. So if we only go to 14, so then the cost from now until the rest of the fiscal year is basically $37,000.
So it's 37 versus 39 or 59, I'm sorry, $12,000. The other thing you want to keep in mind is as we move forward into next year, for next year, that number doubles.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not saying no, I'm just saying you want to make sure that you're keeping in mind that whatever number you choose, if you choose a number, that number doubles.
Right, so basically what he's saying is we raised the base to 15 now.
At 120.
Then next year, that's $120,000 more than we budgeted for salaries this year. And that's just classified.
We've run some rough certified
That's a big
numbers,
number.
just so you know, and it's not gonna be as high as this. But having said that, it's something you guys really want to think about moving forward. We did get some additional money. What that means, we don't have final budget numbers yet, and we probably won't have them until next month. We're still waiting on CDE to finalize some things, and we need to get our ducks in a row as far as what the new budget is going to be, because we're talking about we had to add the network in there, right? We had to add that. So we didn't take that into account. I mean, we're gonna do it next year, so that money is away. We were, having said that, there's a lot of costs we absorbed this year that maybe frees up money next year, right? All of these things are just things to keep in mind as you guys are making these kind of decisions.
So that number scares me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's something else that's gonna scare you.
Not having
If we
employees.
don't take it to 15, who's gonna bring the kids to school?
Ed Swayze.
No, he won't. No, he won't. I can't run 6 routes. I can run 1. 6, no. As it is now, I run 2 routes. As it is now, I run 2 routes because we're shy drivers.
And it's just not drivers. We're talking about the whole spectrum.
No, it's not. It's not
Paras,
just drivers, it's
custodians,
paras, and
maintenance.
everybody. We're gonna be hurt.
Oh, I know, but that number scares me.
I agree, it scared me too.
It should scare everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody who lives.
Yeah, everybody is really, yeah.
And you know, what if next year, the state just goes crazy and does something stupid with funding and we don't get as much as we got this year.
Okay,
then it's
That'll
gonna hurt.
happen, I'm sure. State does it, dumb stuff.
we have to be competitive. I mean, the 1250 is just not doing it.
Well, and not just competitive, but the one thing we haven't mentioned is, it's for those, people that have been working for us, for a long time, we kind of sort of owe it to them to pay them this wage. I mean, this is,
Well, could we go?
I mean,
into it?
1235 is,
Could we?
wow.
Could we baby step into it? Could we move it for the rest of this year up to 14? Then we.
And then do 15 next year, that's an
Right.
option, but that's not the motion on the table right now.
Correct, but I mean, we're discussing it, so we have to modify the motion before we vote, we can do that.
Yeah.
Just because we're about to start the budget preparation and putting together for next year, and we're gonna start getting the numbers from state and what we need. I'm comfortable with, just that way we can, because we've struggled a lot this year with getting people and retaining people, especially for pay. My personal opinion is go to the 14 now, and then when we're redoing the budget for next year and we're putting it together, see what it will look like if we do the 15, because we're also looking at other steps and other raises for next year for our certificated staff as well. So that's just my 2 cents, and I think some people agree.
Ed, you got your hand over your mouth. What do you think about that?
I don't agree with it, and here's why. You remember a couple years ago, the crap we went through? A couple of people got 2 pennies an hour, the rest got $1 or something. It all messed, it was all screwy, and we had people complaining, people threatening to quit, and some walk out. No, we cannot afford that. We have to find some way to treat them all fairly and get it where it belongs.
You don't think $14 an hour would
No,
be it?
I do not.
But
I do not.
that's raising everybody, not just the
That's
ones at
not-
12.
yeah.
That's, the table is taking everybody out.
Yeah.
That
That's the-
same increment, everybody's going up. Do you just follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not just the bottom line, it's not just the people at 1235 right now going up to 14.
Everybody.
Everybody is getting that same increment. So if you're at 14, you're now going up to the 16 change. It's, everybody's getting the same exact bump
Everyone's
at
getting
this
the same
time,
exact bump.
which is why the amount is what it is.
So you took everyone's current.
I took the
pay,
entire,
bump
yes,
Yeah.
$1.65
No,
or $2.65,
$2, yeah.
265.
whether it's 14 or 15.
Yeah.
But everybody got that push.
Okay.
Not just one or two people, not just those at the very bottom end. The entire table got that shove. So that everybody's gonna get it. That's
Better
on
than
it.
what they did a couple years back.
No,
I don't.
They were
I don't
slapping
like that.
people in the face.
Yeah,
That was wrong.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, because we did it by percents, Ed, and that was great.
We're doing it by dollar amount this time.
Yeah. TJ, what are your thoughts on this, man?
You know, if you look at column C, let's just talk about the $15 an hour. If you look at a van driver is a class C driver, anybody off the street with a driver's license. No specific requirements, just have a driver's license. That's 1504. Now you're talking about a CDL driver, column E. Has to get certified, has to get medical, has to have all these certifications. And that person's getting 16 cents more an hour.
See, that's what they were complaining about a couple years ago.
There's no incentive for a van driver to become a bus driver. For
That's a
16 cents
remapping
an
of the
hour.
entire table though.
Yeah, we'd have to remap the entire
Right.
table.
Right, and I'm just identifying that there is one of those things that.
I agree with you. And I think that's something I think if the board wants to task us with revisiting who's in what column and what those columns should be, I think both of us would be happy to do that. I just don't think that, I think that's a 7-1 decision, not a 1-1 decision. Does that make sense? I mean, I think we can tell them that the plan is that.
I think it's a case by case basis too, as far as the length of time they're here and, you know. I mean,
That's
I
your
don't know.
steps and stuff.
Also, what you're talking about, TJ, the incentive. We're already giving them the incentive because we're already paying for the physical. When they commit to us for a year, we're paying for their license.
But that's not
and all that
incentive.
stuff. But
If 16 cents an hour isn't gonna make someone say, woo-hoo,
Yeah.
I want a CDL.
How much do you think is worth?
You know, I'd say at least $1 an hour. In my opinion, $1 an hour over somebody who's not a CDL. And that would give an incentive for someone to do that. But there's unknowns that I don't know. Okay, I don't know a CTE teacher 1, CTE teacher 2, or 3. I'm unfamiliar with these teachers. I don't know what their certifications are, what their requirements are.
That's all done for the community college and those are all different.
So those are just
Licensure type.
those are just titles that I'm unfamiliar with.
We don't have any of those right now.
Okay.
So it's something to keep in mind. And I'm not saying that a CTE teacher doesn't deserve more money also because they're teaching our kids.
Right,
So-
and I don't know which one is what. It's just right now, CDL drivers, as we all know, since the pandemic, they're hard to keep. Everybody's asking for them, everybody's paying big bucks. So just try to be competitive on that. But you know, with this pay scale, what we've done in the past was saying, hey, you don't have to start at step one. Get your license, we'll start you at step 3.
Yeah.
Well, I think, one of the things we can also do, I mean, obviously not tonight, not today, but kind of sort of what Kyle was talking about, if we want to add a column between F and G for CDL drivers and, have that number be more than, 1533 and, have it be $1 higher than, maybe even more, call it 1650 an hour. And we do that for the next budget year, wherever we land on this 14 or 15 thing.
Right.
I like Danielle's idea. I think we go to 14, we take the table of 14 right now. And basically the 5 of us, even though Paul's not here, we make the promise and give the direction that when we start looking at next year's budget, we're going to raise the base to 15, and then we're going to add a column for CDL drivers. That's at the appropriate number.
I like it. Because currently it looks like if we go to the $14, if someone's making, like we have an employee making $13.37 right now at the old rate, they'll be making $14.92 at this new rate at $14 an hour. Someone who makes $15.53 at the current rate will be making $17.08, and that's an hour, and that's just if we go to the $14 an hour.
So Pat, that's raising every one of them.
Yeah.
That dollar, whatever an hour.
Yes.
$1.65, Ed.
What?
Everybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm,
This is what everyone's making, and this is what they would be going up, so everyone would be going up that same amount.
So my job is to advise the board. And I'm not taking a position on this. I just want to put things in perspective. Okay? What you're saving for the rest of this year is $12,000. What you're saving next year is $24,000.
Possibly.
Possibly, maybe not. So what we're really, if the plan is to move forward to 15, you're really only talking a $12,000 savings.
But
I'm just putting it out there. If your plan is to move to 15, you're only saving 12 grand.
I just feel like for this budget, we've had some items
Yeah.
that have came up that we've had to go, like, that weren't planned in our budget originally. So for this remaining year, I would like to play it safe with what we have. And then for next year, when we are looking at it, we know what we're gonna get. That's my thought on it, but then again, I'm on
Totally
the
get
side.
it. I just
What is
want to throw it
everyone
out there.
else's thought on it?
Well, so now here's the sticky wicket, everybody, is based on the way the cover sheet was written. Basically, there is no motion in the cover sheet. So either way, we're gonna have to amend the motion to go with 14 or go with 15.
Okay.
we have to remember something though. Districts around us are not paying 14 an hour.
They're playing 15.
Oh, no. One of them's paying 20, depends on the route you get. You guys got to understand 15 Ellicott, 15 and 14 is a slap in the face in some of the drivers. It don't bother me because I don't need the money. But some of the drivers, it's a slap in the face, I'm telling you. In fact, I'm gonna tell you right now, I made a proposition to our superintendent. I don't want a pay raise. I want to sign a contract with Pat that keeps me at the lowest rate possible because I can't drive free because of insurance. Because I don't need it, but some of these drivers do. And one of them is talking about going to Ellicott because he can hire tomorrow at 20 an hour.
I get that. I don't think Ellicott's coming out of the financial hole that we
Well, I
have been
agree
in,
with that.
and they are a much larger district. So we can't compete with Ellicott at $20. Like, there's just no way.
Well, I'm not saying
But,
go to 20.
I mean, if your thoughts are going to 15, like you said, it is, it's only a $12,000. But when we had some expenses come up that we have budgeted for this year, 12,000 is a sizable amount. What are your thoughts, TJ?
I like the 50. Not that it's when I took the wife out to dinner the other day. It was a small place, but the sign's right in the door, starting pay 15.
Yeah.
Be a fry cook, 15. What's keeping that person here at 14? And I understand, but as the superintendent pointed out, it's $12,000. Big picture, that doesn't sound like a whole lot. Big picture. 12,000 to me is a lot of money, but big picture, it's really not. If our movement is to eventually say, hey, let's do 15, I would probably sway towards the 15.
I just like if we make 15 going to 120 without knowing the budget for next year is just a 50. That's we're making that promise ahead of time without knowing the budget. That's my biggest hesitation.
And next year's 24,000. So I mean, that is a difference. In the difference.
Randy, what are your thoughts?
I don't know, after listening to Ed and TJ, I'm in for it's going to 15 now. I looked at, and Danielle, I absolutely heard what you said about coming out of a financial situation and not knowing the budget numbers for next year. But at the same time, based on what the state is projected to give us this year, minus the stuff that we added, and we're still looking at putting 300,000 in the reserve. So at the end of the day, if I put 200,000 in the reserve and I'm paying people 15 and maybe even paying CDL drivers 16 and a half, at the end of the day, I like that. I'm happy with that.
Okay. All right. I don't have any more questions or concerns. Are we ready to make a motion?
Are we gonna be able to put that, are we gonna be able to put that in the reserve? That,
Not if we keep spending it.
You've known her for a while.
I have.
We'd give anything to have a video of the expression on our face on that and answer that question. All right, so I'll amend the motion. I'd like to make a motion to amend the current motion to accept the $15 change to the base pay and classified salary.
Or a second. I'll second. Let's call for the vote, please.
Now, question before we do the vote. Ed and I have to abstain, correct?
This is
Oh,
just
crap, yes.
this is just to do the motion. But yes, the two of you will need to abstain.
This is the vote.
No, this is to change.
Oh, to change the motion.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, on this one they can vote.
They can vote on this.
Okay, so for this one right here, Ms. Combs,
I,
Mr. Lippert, aye. Mr. Swayze,
aye.
Mr. Underwood.
God.
um,
All right, so now we got a problem.
because we need 3.
No, you don't.
I have to abstain too.
You only need one vote.
You guys.
One vote is enough. It wouldn't matter.
We have a quorum, Danielle, we have a quorum,
Yes.
Okay.
right? It's just that the majority of the quorum has to abstain.
You're the only one that can vote on this, even if we had everybody here.
All right.
I have a question. That's true, even if everybody's here.
Yeah.
Paul, I have a question before she votes. When does this take effect, if it passes?
January 1.
It will not hit the payroll until the February 1 payroll.
Right, because it's January 1.
Yeah. That's why it runs from January through June 30th.
Okay, then, Randy, I don't see why I cannot vote because I'm gonna sign the contract with Pat. My pay will stay the same. I will not
But
jump.
currently, right now, you are on this pay scale. You cannot vote yourself a raise.
I don't want to raise.
If you had that contract in your hand, you wouldn't have to abstain.
call for a vote, please.
Ms. Combs?
Aye.
You still gotta call for the rest of the
Gotta call for it.
abstentions.
Mr. Lippert, I abstain. Mr. Swayze?
I abstain.
Mr. Underwood?
I abstain. Motion carries.
All right. Let's move on. 9.6 signature cards. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Signature cards. It looks like for this, what we're doing is we are directing the change and update of the appropriate signatures based on the new selection of the board treasurer. So we're removing Ed Swayze and adding Paul Ricks for the required signature cards. And
Do we
this
have
is,
to add, we have to add superintendent, right?
We already have the paperwork for that.
So we don't need to do this one?
Now we need to do this in order to do Paul and remove Ed.
Gotcha.
All right. Do we have any comments, questions, concerns, or ready to vote? Pretty straightforward.
Ready to vote.
Ready to vote.
All right, call for the vote, please.
Ms. Combs?
Aye.
Mr. Lippert, aye. Mr. Swayze?
Aye.
Mr. Underwood?
Aye.
All right, we're moving on to information updates. We have the junior, senior high school principal, Prairie Heights principal, Dean athletic director, food services, maintenance and transportation, business and resources, and preschool director update. I just want to say, as always, I love all the updates. I appreciate them. I look forward to next month's review map with the audit information. I'm excited for that one. Any questions, comments, concerns, or we ready to move on?
So good.
And like I said at the beginning of this, I did get through everybody's stuff. Great info. Thank you very much. I do have a bunch of questions for everybody, which I'll do on one-on-one. Just have your patience with me, please. I promise. You answer the question once, I'll know. And you don't have to re-introduce.
TJ, just as a reminder, you can reach out to those individual people that if you have a question on their update, but please copy the super.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And chances are Super's gonna answer most of my questions for me anyway. But thank you. It was a great read. It was a pleasure reading them all. And I'm excited to see the great things we're still doing.
All right, and let's see here. All right, so now we're moving on to 11.1, executive session. Are we moving into the
Do we
executive
need
session
to?
yet? Randy?
Do we need to?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I would rather, what we had discussed, there was a potential for this meeting. I'd rather everyone be here and we
I
meet
would
face to
too.
face. If that's, if you want my opinion, I'd rather not do it this way. And I haven't seen them yet, so. The goal.
Yeah, I had some internet connectivity issues earlier this week. I could not get your goals.
Totally get that. I'd rather meet when you're here anyway.
I agree. Should we take a
I-
vote on it, Randy?
Or we could just not make the motion and not make the second.
There we go.
I'd like
Motion is
Paul to
no
be here
second.
because I think he missed the last.
Yeah,
meeting.
Paul missed the last one. He should be here.
Yeah. I think.
Okay, we'll skip that and go to,
All right, we got 12. Other business. Do we have any other business? All right, hearing none.
I have nothing.
All right, hearing none, it looks like we are at 13, which is
I'll
adjourned.
make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor?
All right.
All right, we are adjourned at 8:42.
Time,
She
all
did,
the time.
8:42.
8:42. Who seconded?
2042.
Yelling at me, Brandy.
Because Randy was talking.
Who seconded?
We'll say Danielle then.
I remember.
Everybody
Merry
actually.
Christmas.
You all good, buddy?